Oh, good lord. Hi Max, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? Never been this early. Fair enough. How's it going, Aaron? Messed up my sleeping schedule just for this? Oh, buddy, no, you shouldn't have done that. Alright, how's it going, man? How you doing? Chris, buddy boy, how you doing? That's kind of good, though. Eve, how's it going? Chess? Sure. I'm gonna do chess after, also for World Cup games. True. Okay. Oh, fuck. Good, back in time for my favorite arc in the book. Let's go, nice. I know, Marora, I'm so excited for. Is that starting now? I'm so excited. Harsh, how's it going, buddy? Are you back now, Chris? Obviously, I know you still have to, like, move in, not next week, but the following. But, like you're chilling in terms of schedule and shit-wise now? Freud. Fruit. Damn it. This is so dumb. Grail. Oh my god. You're not sure. Oh my, I'm not sharing my screen? Oh my fucking god, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so stupid. Nah, still without Wi-Fi, but I'll be in every stream besides Wednesday. It's my mom's birthday. Nice. Alright. No worries. I might, by the way, just a heads up, both Argentina and Austria play tomorrow. Oh, let's go. Who's Argentina playing tomorrow? I'll try to catch that. I think it might be working, but, I might be working. No, 9 p.m. Okay, dope. I can watch that. Algeria? Okay, that's dope. That's a foregone conclusion. I hate to be that guy, but, by the way, almost certainly, not even probably, no stream on Friday, by the way, just a heads up. But I'm off work next week, so we'll be day streaming all next week, so we're laughing. No stream Friday, no stream Sunday. Saturday you'll get a weekend stream, and then Monday through whatever next week we'll fucking hammer out streams to get through Marora. Dude, we're gonna do Marora so fucking quick. You're gonna be genuinely, like, baffled. I think someone said it's like 60 chapters or so is the next arc, so we might actually be able to get that done this week. But if not, or if we get it done this week, whatever the next fucking bit is, whatever the next long arc or couple of arcs are, we're fucking zooming through them. Alright, by the time next week is done, the aim is, now this is a lofty goal, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a bit lofty, but I've always been a pretty lofty fella, you know? I got big hopes and dreams and shit, you know? The goal is to try to end next weekend, at 1,000. It's a bit of a crazy goal, no doubt. Because this week I'll get to like 800. I'm at 800 today. We'll get to like 850, 860 by the end of the week, maybe. If that's the case, then I gotta do like 140 chapters next week, which is like 20 chapters a day. Okay, then I'd be too lofty a goal. But fuck it, boys. Better to aim for the moon, so even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. That's what I say. It's an original quote, by the way. I didn't take that from anyone, for sure. All me. Brazil. I don't know what the word is. Oh my god, it was... Fuck, I could have got that. I could have got that. He did it 30 chapters in 7 hours. He fell off. Yeah, but he did that recently, Kami, or he did that way back when? Because I know he did something like to that effect for for Lord of the Mysteries, like Volume 6 or something. But 3 days ago? Whew. Alright. Dude, that's not bad. What are you talking? What do you mean he fell off? 30 chapters? Is crazy. Because again, I average about, and I feel like I have pretty good reading speed, is about 10 minutes a chapter or so is on average what I can manage. In that case, I would maybe be able to do that in 5, but you gotta remember, that's rough. He did like 50 chapters in 9 if I remember right. Damn. He was kind of goated with this. Dude, occasionally he would have the fucking aura of Gojo Satoru reawaken in his body and he'd become goated with the sauce for a bit. What the fuck? Shower, change, accessorize. I don't know. Snake, dog, horse, dragon. Let's go. And he decided to do 45 things at the same time. Listen, he chose a different path than my own. Technically, his is working out way better than mine. My path is fucking dog shit. Jesus. Look at... Technically, his path is way better than mine on. But, you know, we pick our paths, no point complaining about it. Traction, stamina. Oh, okay, you went the same place I did there. Momentum. What was the last one? Traction, stamina, legs, you think? Ah, nice. Accessorize, change, shower. Fuck. Nice. But I don't know what primp means, mind you, but flowers. What the fuck? Alright. So this would work, except the set is a little bit bigger, so I gotta compensate for that. Like maybe about here. Fuck. Didn't compensate enough. That's my fault. Alright, Aaron, what you got? What you got? You're already 2/3 of the way. I know. Not much left at this point. No point crying about it. It's fine. I'm just gonna have to hope that Reverend Insanity makes up for all the time I lost for COI. Because even though I, at this point, have genuinely enjoyed the COI book, and a little bit I didn't enjoy, I don't, whatever, fuck it. Like, okay, downtime, whatever. But, the channel has had zero growth over COI. It's just been, like, just a fucking wash as far as the channel is concerned. So... Dude, this better not be... Oh, this is rated. Oh, but actually you're rated so much higher than me. I don't have anything to lose here. Never mind. If Wiz wins, he's cheating. If he wins, then yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. Oh, he didn't see it, boys. He didn't see it. He could have just taken. It's fine. This is fucked anyway. Don't want Lord of the Mysteries game. I plan to do some about the game when it comes out, but... Oh my god, kill me. What a dog shit game this whole bit has been. It's genuinely fascinating. Dude, I genuinely got fucking mollywopped here. Oh my god. I can't, it's pinned. This is so dog shit. Kill me. Oh my god. Just get me the fuck out of here. Oh my god. I will not be partaking in RI, but I hope you have fun. Cringe. It's fine. It's fine. Can't have... Just kill... Dude, I fucking hate you. Aaron, you're banned. Oh my god. You bitch! Ah! Oh! 12 months, Pushkar. Yo. Fucking hell, man. 12 months, eh? GG's, GG's. Alright. Actually, since you're here, hold on. Alright, hold on. Let me just... Give me 2 seconds. Let me just do something really quick. Dude, what the fuck? I hate this. I hate that I'm doing this. Been a great year. Yeah, you too, buddy. You too. I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's get to reading. Yep. Give me 1 second. Let me just do something really quick. Now that Pushkar's here, it just reminded me. I've been meaning to do this. Give me 1 second. Pushkar, if you don't mind, just... Wait, what? Hold on. Fuck. No. Motherfucker, hold on. A year went by. Dude, it went by so quick. It's crazy. Sorry, give me 1 second. 1 second. Dude, what the fuck? I set a fucking alarm for 7 in the morning and it goes off at 7 p.m. Kill me. No wonder I got late to work this morning. Okay, Pushkar, do you mind resetting? Do you mind refreshing the stream rather? Sorry, I just want to see if something happens, and then type in a new message when you have a sec. Fuck! I wanted to do my fucking puzzles, and this piece of shit took it from me. God damn you, Aaron. Yo, Bug XS, how's it going, guys? Ah, there it is. Okay. I am a man of my word. I did not want to. I hate you for making me. I want to be clear. But I'll do it all the same, okay? I will do it. Madam Judgment's coming? This is randomly making ORV video. What? Inside the slow-moving carriage, LEMMiNO, handcuffed and shackled, stared out the window with the iron bars welded and covered with thick cloth. His belief within his own judgment grew stronger. When the clergyman of the Church of Knowledge accused him of being a criminal, his reaction wasn't to be on guard, but to feel confused. He sensed that those performing... we're gonna be entering Marora soon. Alright, Chris, I'll send it to you. Oh my god, that's so funny. WORB, what happened? He sensed that those performing routine exit checks were specifically there for him, but apart from Ludwig and the 001 incident, he had no interaction with the Church of Knowledge. Why are you, Lenberger, so enthusiastic about catching Intesian criminals? Did you even verify the details and my abilities? As thoughts raced, LEMMiNO noticing a silent surprise, fearful yet relieved gaze, the thought of a possibility. Is this a hint from the Church? No, it's not just a hint. They're escorting me to the destination. The City of Exiles, as the name suggests, a place for criminals. I can't access that anyway. No Wi-Fi to go. When I'm arrested as a wanted criminal and sentenced to exile, I'll be sent to Marora. Isn't this too straightforward? How did they even know I was coming? Are the high-sequence beyonders of the reader pathway adept at prophecy or divination? LEMMiNO glanced at his waist, noticing the traveler bag that hadn't been confiscated. He couldn't help but grumble. They didn't confiscate a criminal's belongings or take measures against dangerous criminals. This performance is far too unconvincing. Are they afraid I won't notice? And may resist? LEMMiNO silently took the traveler bag from his belt and tucked it into the inner pocket of his jacket. He didn't want to make things difficult for the Church. Their poor acting doesn't matter, but I can't be equally patronizing. What if other serious offenders or assisting police officers see this? They think the clergymen are unprofessional. After driving for a while, the vehicle finally stopped. Under the strict guard of the several clergymen, members in church robes, LEMMiNO was escorted to a white tower. Alright, I'm gonna go. Almost 5 a.m. Alright, bye Pushkar. Please spread knowledge of my great deeds today, Pushkar, to the other, I don't know, 10 of you or 5 or 7 of you in that club. There's not many. You're in a pretty elite club, but give them word of my great deeds today. At great personal cost, I sought to do what was right. The 1-year member club. Before he could take a good look at the tower's full appearance or even the spire to confirm its grandeur, he was pushed back through a side door, down a staircase, through a dimly lit corridor. Lumin glanced around and saw about 8 people already inside. Look at, Kami, look at Pushkar's, look at the emblem next to Pushkar's name. Look at, like, you have Trissy next to you. Who does he have? Lumin glanced around and saw about 8 people already inside, all handcuffed and shackled, some even chained to through their collarbones. Such restraint would be effective even against Beyonders, but they couldn't suppress those with more abilities. If it were me, being locked up like this would render my hunter abilities useless, but it wouldn't stop me from starting fires, provoking, or scanning for weaknesses. But come on, can you not be more professional? This performance is too fake. Lumin thought as he watched the elder who had arrested him open the iron cell. Stay here to wait judgment, the clergyman said. Judgment? You haven't even done the judgment yet? Have you given up on pretending? The iron cell door was closed. Lumin looked around, found a small metal chair fixed to the ground and sat down, casting his gaze at the offenders. A young man with glasses sitting opposite him raised his chin. Didn't expect someone younger than me to come. What crime did you commit? Without answering, Lumin asked in return, what about you? Murder. Most people here are murderers. How many did you kill? A middle-aged man asked. 7 or 8. I'm not sure if I killed one of them. The young man replied, ending a human life with my own hands. Their pain, their struggle and despair, and the blood on my face is intoxicating. At that moment, I felt like their god. A serial killer, Lumin thought. The young man sighed in the end. Unfortunately, Az-Shahara has too many detectives, and they found me. What about you? How many did you kill? Why? Don't know. Too many. Do you keep count of how many slices of bread you eat in the morning? That is a quote from Result of Intes, right? I read it in a biography, the young man replied. I remember eating 123 slices last month. The middle-aged man was silent for a moment and said, I'd kill because they deserve to die, and the more deserving they are, the tastier. You eat the people you kill, the man asked? Depending on how much they deserve it. And there are different methods of cooking, the man replied. You're both freaks, a sullen man snorted. The young man didn't get angry and asked, well, why did you kill? I didn't kill for the sake of it. I'm not, you are out of your I'm not reading that. Blame them, the sullen man said with a look of disdain. The young man laughed and pointed to a woman with disheveled hair. She also does the same, but that's incidental. I am not reading it, Chris. No, you're gonna get my channel taken out. No. Her main purpose is collecting reproductive organs. Sitting down on the chair, leaning forward, Lumin couldn't help but shake his head. Does Lenberg have too many murders? On average, each one has a few body counts. What about you? What major crime did you commit? The man finally looked back at Lumin and asked. Lumin thought seriously for a moment and said, murder, blasphemy, arson, kidnapping, extortion, intimidation, deceit, explosions, inducing miscarriages, worshipping evil gods, attacking government officials, blackmailing the Orthodox churches. The young man was stunned and laughed. Brother, haven't you committed too many crimes? Why else would I be here? Lumin replied. Fair enough, the young man replied. How many did you kill exactly? I didn't count and didn't want to answer. It's not something to boast of. It's like a farmer culling wheat. I'm just doing my job. Would you be happy doing your job well? What's your name? I am Gui. Maybe we will meet again in the land of death. Louis, Lumin replied. He didn't want to use his real name amongst the people of the city. In mysticism, knowing someone's true name could lead to curses. What about you guys? Gui asked. Les, the middle-aged man replied. Vijappen, Verstappen. Julie, the woman with disheveled hair, replied. After the serious offenders introduced themselves, Lumin smiled. I didn't expect the Lenberg security to be so bad, with so many serial killers. I'm from Intes, I haven't been here long. Actually, it's not so bad, Gui replied. Even quite good, but because Lenberg has the most and best detectives in the world. There are many people like us, twisted personalities combined with a lot of knowledge, easily create a batch of formidable enemies. And criminals from other countries also come here wanting to challenge our detectives. Detectives are sequence 7 of the reader pathway belonging to the Church of Knowledge. There indeed must be many here. Could it be that real criminals and serial killers come here for their own roleplay? Lumion thought and nodded. Am I one of them? You have a clear understanding of your personality. The more knowledge you have, the more dangerous you are. Yes, I now regret not having more knowledge, GUI coughed. As a serious offender alternating between silence and idle chatter, time had passed. Finally, the clergyman arrived, escorting a woman to the cell. She wore a shirt with a white lace flower at the collar, a beige coat with a brass trim and a dark knee-length skirt and brown boots. Her face oval and her light blue eyes like spring water. Seeing her, Verstappen's eyes lit up. You have been judged, and I shall announce the verdict, the beautiful woman said before turning and walking away. The other clergy opened the door and escorted Lumion, GUI, and the others. They descended the stairs, going deeper and deeper until they reached a large brass double door. The beautiful woman's voice turned serious. Your verdict is exile. Exile, never to return. Exile to where? GUI asked. Not a death sentence. Exile beyond these doors, the woman pointed. As she finished speaking, a chilling, indistinct sound came from behind the doors. Her hair tied back, a very beautiful woman. Huh. Who is that? Would it be in my notes? I doubt it. I didn't recognize her either. No. Do we know anyone of the Justiciar pathway? Damn. To be honest, it's pretty obscure. Could it be one of the... I can't remember, but were one of the people that were brought to... Cordu from the Church of Knowledge? I don't know. Because I know it was like a joint task force or whatever. Was one of them from the Church of Knowledge? As a hint, think of the location they're in. Lindbergh? Do we know someone from Lindbergh? Hearing the sounds from behind the door, the faces of all the serious offenders changed except Lumion. GUI blurted out, what's behind these doors? Behind the door is a path leading to your place of exile, the woman answered. Is that your final guess? Yeah, I guess. There are no monsters waiting to eat you, but it is indeed dangerous. I do not know the specifics, but there is a chance for you to survive. Much better than being hanged or shot. Everyone's exchanged glances, then looked at the clergyman. They were tempted, but suppressed their urges. They believed they were no match for the clergy of the Church of Knowledge, especially the beautiful woman. GUI glanced at Lumion and saw that the criminal who had claimed to have committed many crimes looked calm and unafraid. Next hint... Okay, sounds good. I will open the door in a moment. You will enter on your own. Anyone who stays behind will have an additional charge tacked on and will be sentenced to death on the spot, the woman said, raising her hands. With countless illusory lights seeming to float. Dark, dim rain fell silently from a height of 4 meters, drenching Lumion and the others. Lumion immediately felt irritated. It smelled like the blood of Ami Bella was stirring. What did you do to us? GUI asked. This is a technique called Harp's Reign of Sterility. It renders you infertile but can be reversed with corresponding techniques, or a doctor. We don't want babies born in exile. They are innocent. Okay, weirdly wholesome. Now, the fact that they have a lobotomy, the fact that they have a, well, not lobotomy, but what the fuck is that? A no, not a hysterect. What the fuck is it called when you snip the balls? I don't know what it's called. What is it called? Fuck. Someone's gonna get it, please. Reign of sterility. No wonder Amibella's blood reacted so strongly. I wonder if this technique will castrate. No, not castration. No, there's like a vasectomy. Yes, thank you, Kami. And they have a vasectomy spell is kind of crazy, but I appreciate the logic of like we don't want kids born there. They're innocent. That's if it works, would it prevent embryos from implanting if I were influenced by the Great Mother? I suppose it depends on the influence, Lumion thought. The serious offenders didn't think of it as a problem either. Some already had children, while others were too cold-blooded or twisted to think about such things. The woman stepped back a few paces, faced the brass doors, and pressed her hands in the air. The door emitted a heavy, metallic creak and opened. For some reason, Gui and the others felt an urge to go through the door, stepping into the dim passage. They didn't notice that except for the beautiful woman, the clergy had retreated to the edge of the corridor. Lumion felt the same urge, sensing something familiar yet unknown calling to him. He walked in the middle of the group, hearing the clang of the doors behind him. I don't know if that'll work on the M-God bloodline. I know, it definitely won't work. The mother goddess of depravity was like, bitch, you know who I am? You gonna try to hit me with this mid-sequence level spell? Get the fuck out of here. The passageway dimmed significantly, illuminated only by glowing gems. How extravagant, Lumion thought. Gui glanced around. Should we stay here and wait until there are fewer guards than try to escape? Do you think the exiled people before us didn't think of that, and we're still here? How do you propose to escape? Nod, how's it going, man? Lumion watched coldly, noticing that Gui could somewhat resist the urge to flee while the others were finding excuses to reject the suggestion. After they argued for a couple of minutes, Lumion asked, do we have any food? What if the guards only have a lapse every few days? Without waiting for an answer, Lumion continued, actually, there is food. Each of you is food. He turned to Les, the human chef, and asked, how would you prepare us? The spell was the hint? The spell of sterilization was the hint? The spell of vasectomy? I don't know. Who was it? Someone tell me. Suitable for stewing and pickling. You need the right spices to prevent the taste from souring, Les said. Gui fell silent for a few seconds, handcuffed and shackled, and began to walk slowly down the passageway, Lumion following. Oh, Church of God of Knowledge, Edwina. That does make sense. But how am I to expect that she has a fucking sterilization spell? What? They walked for what seemed like 7 or 8 hours, though Lumion suspected his sense of time was distorted. During this time, no one chose to stop. It seemed like they were heading not for a city of exiles, but a land of hope. They frequently heard the indescribably terrifying sounds, prompting the human chef Les to comment, it's like we're walking down a monster's long esophagus. Heading for its stomach, the sounds are its digestive movements. Lumion agreed, while the others felt their hair stand on end. Finally, they saw stone steps leading upwards. Climbing the steps and pushing open a heavy door, Lumion and the others were blinded by a bright sunlight. Almost simultaneously, a gentle voice was heard. Welcome to the City of Exiles, Marora. Just as I thought, Lumion sighed. Opening his eyes and looking around, they were in a grand prayer hall, sunlight streaming through the glass. The walls, without windows, were adorned with murals depicting mythical stories, while below stood a brass bookshelf filled with books and scrolls, feeling more like a library than a church. The speaker was an old man in white robes trimmed with brass, in his 60s or 70s, with graying hair, gentle clear amber eyes. He held a book in his left hand, a standard scholar clergyman of the Church of Knowledge. Thoughts on the entrance to Marora? A lot more tamer than I would have expected for the City of Exiles. I would have thought, like, I don't know, something closer to the underworld, but I guess this is something. Yet Lumion felt that he wasn't a real person, suspecting he was likely a puppet. Marora? This place is called Marora, GUI asked. I am Heraberg, responsible for all theological affairs in Marora. Wasn't the god of knowledge's name Herabergen? Is this a painting or a puppet created by Herabergen himself? Important enough that he would place one of his puppets here? I'm not wrong on that, right? Let me search. Excuse me, let's go. A god of knowledge, Herabergen, yeah. As he spoke, he extended his right hand, pointing at Lumion and the others. The shackles, handcuffs, and chains softened as if made of mud. With a clatter, they fell from the bodies of the offenders, hitting the ground. The offenders' hearts sank, abandoning any bad thoughts. Heraberg handed out a thick book and a brass-cased pen. Register your names. This signifies your status as residents of Marora. Oh, the book he handed them and the brass-cased pen tells me, like, zero effort for a disguise, truly. Tells me, like, this book might be, like, obviously I don't think it's going to be, like, 003. What was the Truant's brass book called or whatever? But it's going to be something to that effect. Maybe, like, you know, it'll bind them to certain rules while they're in the city of Marora. Maybe preventing them from leaving, or while they're here they cannot do certain crimes, or if they do they're, like, punished or something. Lumion complied, taking the book and writing Louis. Next was GUI, who took the pen and tentatively asked Heraberg, how do you know if we're writing our real names? The past is not important. In Marora, the present and the future are all that matter. GUI pondered, unsure of the meaning. Considering that the Church of Knowledge could exchange information via telegram, he didn't use a fake name. After all, the serious offenders finished registering. Heraberg looked at them and said, you must follow the rules here. Most laws are the same as in most other cities, but dueling is legal if both parties agree. Non-violent protests are also allowed. We have a dedicated team to maintaining order here. Can we join the enforcement team? Les asked. The enforcement team is made entirely of experimental personnel. Oh? How do we become experimental personnel? What happens if we break a law here? Verstappen asked. The worst punishment for breaking the law is becoming an experimental person. Wouldn't that make us enforcers? GUI asked. Is it encouraging us to break the law? Lumion recalled the term experimental person frequently appearing in 001 sealed info. Just from that, he knew becoming such a thing was definitely not good. Heraberg's expression remained unchanged. Yes, but remember, beside the church's overseers, at least 2 experimental personnel are discarded daily. Discarded? How many people are in Marora? Lumion asked. Nearly 200,000. The city has farms, mines, and factories, all part of Marora. Does Lemberg have that many offenders? Lumion asked. It is accumulated over generations. We also spend money to import serious offenders from abroad. Import? You make it sound like importing talent, Lumion thought. Not in a hurry to commit a crime, planning to become experimental personnel, hoping to get close to 001. He bid farewell to Heraberg and headed for the exit of the library-like cathedral, intending to first find the other 2 parts of the abscessed hand. Oh yeah, we need to do that first. But once that's done, 001 has got to be, like, either the characteristic or a grade 1 characteristic. Or, sorry, the uniqueness or grade 1 characteristic. If it's a grade 1 characteristic, in all likelihood, it has, like, 1 through 9 in it. Probably several of, like, the lower sequences, right? So if Lumion can get it, he can probably just give it to Force and just have her shatter it into, like, oh, and that would make sense how he's able to progress so quickly from there. Because then he doesn't really need to go looking. He just needs to digest, boop, digest, boop, digest, poop. Oh, that could do... Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Even... What happens if he gets access to the uniqueness? Forza's sequence 2, she can't shatter sequence 1? Oh, this is also true. I don't know. Even just a characteristic would be above her power? Because I just thought, like, an angel has the ability to do that. Right? A characteristic couldn't be stronger than an angel. I don't feel like that's a rule, Kami. I feel like You're trying to trip me up here. If it's a uniqueness, what do you think would happen? That's the interesting part, Chris. Because the question is, if he amalgamates it into himself somehow as a sequence 5, I don't even know if that's possible. But if he does that, does he become closer to like an angel? Or does he now have like some weird authority abilities that like other hunters don't have? But like even then, Medici would be so close to like with the attraction with him and just fucking zoop him. Behind Lumion, Verstappen continued asking, in a legal duel, can I do anything to the other party? Yes, Herberg said. Verstappen's eyes lit up as if he had found paradise. He swallowed excitedly and heard a similar sound next to him. He turned his head and saw that the sound came from the woman, Julie. The collector was also excited. Liz licked his lips. He was already hungry. Lumion didn't bother watching the others. He left the library and surveyed the surroundings. The buildings in this area were ancient, reminiscent of early 5th epoch styles, with heavy columns and arches. Behind the cathedral was a seemingly endless graveyard. This reminded Lumion of a line from 001's information. Place it in an underground mausoleum with a large number of soldier mannequins. Construct a cemetery with over 1 million corpses above. Is the underground mausoleum right below? Just as Lumion withdrew his gaze, the previously sunny sky darkened and clouds gathered. The weather changes quick. No wonder the information mentioning Marora frequently experiencing extreme weather. Lumion sighed as he looked into the distance, seeing the mountain ranges resembling giant beasts lying about. Of course, this was just a metaphor. As a resident of Marora, never thought of leaving the city. Lumion felt a slight reluctance. The underground was calling to him. We need to find a place to settle down or we'll get soaked, Gui said. He had also left the cathedral. Yes, Lumion replied. Gui followed behind and glanced up. There's such a huge graveyard here? Over 1 million, maybe 10 million corpses, Lumion replied. History books record a large-scale grave relocation in the 5th epoch in the Lemberg region to address the aftermath of the Pale disaster. Was it moved here? Oh. Perhaps, Lumion said. He activated the black mark representing the abscessed hand, but didn't use it. He was sensing the approximate location of the other parts. To his surprise, he sensed more than 2 parts. Different directions had a subtle response. Handbro's body got dismembered, Lumion muttered. Handbros is crazy. He chose the direction with the shortest response. After walking a street length, he heard the clashing of a metal and 2 men arguing with sharp swords. Duel with fatalities happened daily. Lumion reviewed the 001 information. Gui did the same, deciding to watch from afar. The fight lasted 2 or 3 minutes, ending with a man in a black jacket being slashed across the chest and stomach and his intestines spilling out. A team of men and women in black robes, expressions indifferent, appeared, silently dragging the corpse along the way and cleaning the blood. The onlookers dispersed, and a small man in a brown-green cap smiled, walking past Lumion and Gui. New here? The man replied. Or the man asked. How can you tell? Gui said. You still have that look about you, like you haven't fully integrated. His voice turned sharp. Lumion watched the man in its silence, observing. Haha, I am Worms. Let's have a drink sometime. Do you feel like you're missing something? Gui asked Lumion as the Worms walked down. I noticed. He's quick. He had only noticed his traveler bag was about to be taken when Worms withdrew his hand. He must be a real beyonder. A true marauder. Why didn't you expose him if he did? Gui asked. I wanted to see what he would do, Lumion replied with a smile. Hand in his pocket, following the route Worms had taken. Gui watched his back for a while, then decided to find a place to stay. Once out of Lumion and Gui's sight, Worms quickened his pace, darting through the alleys. After confirming he had shaken off potential pursuers, he stopped in an alley and took out a dark, black coin pouch. It was Lumion's traveler bag. Haha, these fools are so careless. Let's see what's inside. Worms reached in. His expression changed. He could see the pouch's value, sensing many items with spirituality inside. What a pleasant surprise. Worms pulled out one of the items. What greeted him was a half-decomposed, dark blue swollen corpse. Ugh, he recoiled, letting the corpse fall to the ground. Who the fuck carries around a corpse? Even in Marora, this is the wildest thing ever. No wonder he was exiled. Dude, imagine a city of... You enter a city of serial killers who are bad enough that the fucking church says, like, bro, killing you is too much of a hassle. We're gonna exile you, okay? You get there, and on your first day, everyone's like, that guy's a freak, bro. What? Stay away from that guy. You're like, yo, what the fuck? How bad is that guy? Steadying himself, Worms reached into the traveler bag again, pulling out a piece of white leather. He couldn't take his eyes off it, as if it's staring at the skin of a lover. He quickly noticed some black words written on the leather. Words that seemed to trigger Beyonder powers. That must be quite valuable. I should copy it and find someone to decipher it, Worms thought. Suddenly, he felt his throat itch. He started coughing more and more violently. Within seconds, he coughed so hard he felt like his heart would explode. Dude, what bad luck. Pulls out a corpse, pulls out a demoness of despair, demoness of ailment. No, ailment is 5. What is despair? Oh my god. How can I get so quickly? How can I get sick so quickly? Worms, vaguely understanding, threw the leather to the ground, but the coughing continued. While coughing, he thought of a way to save himself. The guy put such things in his pocket? He must have a cure. Yes, he must. He reached into the bag yet again, pulling out a grayish-white brooch. He's gonna get struck by lightning because there's like lightning storm. No. Yes, a thick silvery white lightning bolt descended from the clouds, striking him. The thunder echoed and Worms fell, his body charred. Already gravely ill, the lightning strike left him near death. How could I be struck by lightning? Worm's vision darkened, and he closed his eyes and stopped breathing. 10 seconds later, LEMMiNO turned into the alley and saw Worms looking at his body and smiling. Rummaging through others' belongings is quite dangerous, LEMMiNO said. After a pause, he sighed. I wanted to follow you to get in touch with Beyonders. You let me down. And you didn't even get to the most dangerous items. As he spoke, LEMMiNO picked up the traveler bag, placing the items back in the compressed form. The Fury of the Sea brooch, the Demoness of Despair human leather, and the half corpse of the abscessed hand. I guess being a generous soul is all you can do, LEMMiNO muttered, extracting 537 Sasson gold from Worms. Dude, I love how, like, we have such, like, peak shit where, like, Klein could just be like... Klein had the fucking aura to just use a Cipher that great old ones are foaming at the mouth to get their hands on it, and he used it as, like, you know, his hidey pouch. He'd just be like, well, I don't know what it does until I do. I guess I'll just throw it up there. Should probably be fine, I guess. No, I'm just a silly guy, you know. And then LEMMiNO, on the other hand, has this thing from Fours to just mitigate negative effects. So these dumb fucks are just like, oh my god, I feel such spirituality. This might dead. That was about 2,863 world ore. Pocketing the generous gift, LEMMiNO waited for Worm's characteristic to manifest. After about 2 minutes, a team of black-faced enforcers entered the alley, looked at LEMMiNO and said, "Did you kill him?" "No. He was struck by lightning. Maybe he did too many bad things. He was a thief and stole my stuff, so I chased him." The enforcers stared at LEMMiNO as if verifying, then nodded. "You may leave." "His belongings should be mine, right?" LEMMiNO asked, smiling. The leader of the enforcers was around 40, clean-shaven and dark brown eyes. He responded to LEMMiNO. "There is no such rule." "But there's also no rule prohibiting it, right?" "Right," the leader nodded. "Coming to Marora means cutting off all ties to the past, right?" "Yes," the enforcer did not deny. "And this thief doesn't have any heirs in Marora, does he?" And before being sent here, criminals were sterilized unless they were part of a criminal family or found a partner with similar interests here. No one had legal heirs. The enforcer didn't answer LEMMiNO and pulled out a thick book from under his black robe and started searching. Do you know the thief's name? His name is Worms. The enforcer nodded. Wait, the enforcer knows? He knows all, I guess. Good night, MX. Appreciate you popping by, buddy. His parents and siblings are not in Marora, and he is not married here, at least not officially. So according to the laws where I come from, a thief's possession go to the person who caught him if there are no heirs or claimants, LEMMiNO began to explain. Like in a legal duel, the victor can take the spoils. The enforcer stared at LEMMiNO. Okay. He and his team waited patiently as the characteristic manifested, merging with one of his fingers, which then broke off. LEMMiNO put away the characteristic and didn't leave immediately, instead staying as the enforcers dragged away the corpse and cleaned the blood and scorch marks. The clouds above thickened and the lightning grew more frequent. Finally, the alley was quiet and clean, with only LEMMiNO remaining. He nodded, muttering to himself. The enforcers seemed to remember the appearance and name of everyone here. After becoming enforcers, they are more or less human, but not quite. He felt that the so-called enforcers, who were actually experimental personnel, acted like puppets. He had deliberately asked if Worm's belongings were his, not out of greed, although that played a small part, as characteristics were valuable. He had long figured that Worms was in a Sequence 7 cryptologist, or he would have deciphered some of the secrets of the items. LEMMiNO doubted he was even a Sequence 8 swindler. LEMMiNO's questions to the enforcers were not to showcase his talents in being a negotiator or to exploit loopholes, but to test their state. And he had his answer. He felt that after becoming enforcers, these criminals became like wax figurines in the Sauron family Red Swan castle, or a combination of the Iron and Blood Cross Order's Supervisor Olsen, without the violent madness. So what, would you live here? You know, if it rains a lot, I'd be game for it, you know, because I love the rain, honestly, and that's what I think. Sounds like a sweet place, honestly. Yeah, listen, I'll say it. I'll say it. Rents have got to be cheap as a motherfucker. Rents have got to be so cheap. In this combined effect of the 001 corruption and Marora's influence, LEMMiNO was unsure if he would retain his self-awareness if he joined the enforcers, or just end up following Marora's rules, becoming a puppet. This made him waver in his original plan to approach 001 as an enforcer. He laughed and asked, Boris, do you wish to be Marora's puppet? Boris ignored him. The downpour had finally arrived, shrouding Marora in a mist of rain. LEMMiNO followed the shelter of the huge buildings, avoiding the rain as he headed to the place where the strongest feedback from the abscessed hand's part came from. When he reached his destination, his clothes were soaked by the wind and rain. LEMMiNO glanced to the side and, seeing a sign by a door depicting a knife, fork, and wine glass with words reading Carnivore. A bar serving food? Carnivore? LEMMiNO pondered the name, but suddenly had a strange guess, indicating that parts of the abscessed hands are scattered across Marora, but originally there were only two. The demon with the goat face ate him daily, and it regened. This bar is called Carnivore. Could it be that one piece of his hand was obtained by the bar owner, saving him the cost of buying meat? The other bar owners in different cities may not do this, but in Marora, they would for sure. If that is true, things will be troublesome. How many people have eaten and integrated his flesh? What impact will this have? Can I merge with the remaining part once I find the original two? LEMMiNO muttered silently for a while, then ran through the rain and pushed open the heavy door of the bar. Encounter? Upon arriving in Marora, after almost resembling the abscessed hand's body, he had started referring to it as Hand Bro, half jokingly, and half to show closeness, hoping it wouldn't attack him when it was fully restored. Just then, as he entered the bar, bringing in the rain, LEMMiNO saw a familiar figure. The figure sat on a high stool in front of the bar, their hairs tinged red, eyebrows and eyes leaning towards a brown, yet handsome-looking man. Albus Medici. Hey? Lumin tensed as his expression remained calm as he walked through. He used to think Albus was mysterious and possibly involved in a conspiracy. Later, he learned about the existence of Medici, realizing that the former King of Angels had orchestrated a massive plot and obtained the Sequence 1 characteristic from Vermonda Sauron. This made Lumin associate Albus with the Red Angel, suspecting Albus was one of his agents. For Lumin, this was bad news, as Medici was close to ascending to a Red Priest. What other places has this extreme weather? The Berserk Sea? Because a god died there? The City of Silver? Because a god died there? Could it be like... And it would make sense if like someone who was close to becoming a Red Priest died here, and then that's why they have to do all this bullshit to seal it. Albus noticed Lumin's gaze and turned. "What brings you here?" Lumin smiled, as meeting an old friend. "Oh, what brings you here?" "Of course, I was captured," Lumin laughed, sitting beside Albus, tapping the counter. "Give me a steak, tenderloins, medium rare," he told the bartender. "Are you mimicking me?" Also being randomly captured and ordering a tenderloin steak, Albus asked. Before Lumin could even respond, he relaxed. "What crime did you commit?" "Murder, blasphemy, arson, kidnapping," Lumin repeated the same crimes he had told the others. "You're missing a spot." "What about you?" Lumin asked. "What am I missing? What am I missing?" Anything in my notes? Forsaken Land of the Gods. Fog Sea, I guess? I don't know. Shush, I don't know. Alright, Unk's memory is not good. Okay, don't sass me. "Me? Murder, arson, inciting riots, attempting to overthrow a government," Albus said. "Which government?" Lumin asked. "Intes. Don't ask me why I tried to overthrow it and ended up here. I don't know either." It's such a patronizing answer, Lumin thought. "Yeah, I didn't commit crimes in Lundberg either." As the two former Iron and Butt Cross Order members chatted, the serves were staked. The steaks were served. The serves were staked. Love it. He looked at the steaks on the porcelain plate, slightly bloody and good-looking texture. He sensed a connection. This was indeed the abscessed hand's flesh. After a few seconds, Lumin glanced to the side and found Albus almost also staring. "Why aren't you eating?" "Why aren't you?" Albus responded. These guys are such dicks. In response to Albus's question, Lumin let out a soft laugh. "You seem pretty sharp," muttering. No wonder he was exiled to Marora. No idea when he was exiled to Marora, but this must be his first time here. Did he come here because he noticed some people here behaving strangely after eating? As these thoughts raced, Lumin slapped the bar counter. He jumped up off the stool and spoke. "Serving this kind of meat to me? Get your boss here!" The bartender was taken aback. "Are you sure?" He wasn't embarrassed or angry. Instead, there seemed to be a slight hint of pleasant surprise. Lumin didn't answer, but conveyed with his eyes he wanted him to hurry up. The bartender said, "Boss, someone wants to wreck your bar." Within a few seconds, a figure rushed out from the kitchen. The figure had messy, fluffy hair and a very fat face. Layered with flesh that made his eyes seem small, yet his body was quite standard, showing no signs of obesity. Who is going to wreck my bar? Fight music? Okay, let's go. Fight music. The music of fighting. Thank God, I get to play some different music. Kami's honestly gotten a little lazy. He keeps looping the same music all the time, you know? Oh, fuck, Kami's here. Oh, damn it. Never mind. Oh, I'm gonna get shit on for that. Never mind. Lumin pointed at this plate, at the steak on his plate. "You think I can't tell what kind of meat this is? If I say it's steak, It's steak, the fat-faced boss retorted. Lumion didn't argue further, taking out a black glove from his traveler bag and tossing it in front. I challenge you to a duel! Throwing down a glove was a customary way to issue a challenge in Intes. The boss glanced at the glove, laughing. Okay. As he spoke, he raised his cleaver and swung it down at Lumion. Lumion sidestepped, but felt that he couldn't use his teleportation ability. The contractual ability of the abscessed hand seemed to be stripped away. Lumion recalled Ludwig's description of a Sequence 5 depriver of the gourmet pathway, and it suspected that this boss was likely one of this. No wonder he can make abscessed hands a rotten flesh look good. A bestowed, not executed, but exiled. Stop dumping all the trash in here. Is it because they fear Marora's population decline and risking the seal? As these thoughts raced, Lumion swung his shoulder, his arm swelling, punching with his right fist. His fist burst into a bright, blazing flames like a peacock's tail, heading for the bartender. As the fist struck him, a violent explosion occurred. The blazing white flame lit up the entire bar, and a blast overturned nearby stools, throwing the fat-faced boss away. Albus reacted pretty quick, jumping up off the stool and perching on the bar counter. With one foot up, resting on the bar, watching Lumion's duel with interest. Just realizes the American path. Okay, hold on. This is okay. This is what I'm imagining. This is exactly who I'm imagining this boss as right now. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but it's wrong if it's not exactly this, okay? If it's not Bray Aberdeen from Red Dead Redemption 2, you're thinking this is who we're fighting right now. The bar owner, who had taken the brunt of the explosion, had his clothes torn, revealing blood, charred flesh, and white bones. His face had similar wounds, but the layer of fat kept it from affecting his skull. The wounds. Good night, Eve. The wounds were writhing and healing rapidly in an unnatural manner. This isn't the power of a typical depriver. None of the mid or low sequences of the gourmet pathway have such ability. Did he gain this from eating a special kind of food? It's similar to the hand bro's rotten flesh can regenerate after being eaten, Lumion thought. As he noticed the other party's peculiarity, he also noticed that he had lost another spell of Harumph. We've lost all of our cool abilities. It's so over. Lumion, just hang it up, bro. We lost Harumph and TP. It's over. Can a depriver sense which of my abilities and traits are most dangerous, even if they don't know which abilities they are? They can deprive me based on the level of danger they pose, Lumion thought, as he formed a white fireball and shot it at the bar owner. He didn't dodge, raised his nearly shattered cleaver and slashed at the fireball. The fireball split in two, losing its momentum and aura. The bar owner opened his mouth and sucked in the whole thing like a whale swallowing water. At that moment, Lumion simply laughed. More fireballs formed around him, whistling through the air. Behind him, fire crows appeared one after another. Lumion wanted to see how many fireballs the depriver could handle, if he could eat them all. Finally, yes, I know. This is like, finally, Lumion has been shacked this entire book, and finally the ref said, alright, you can hack a shack, let's go. The owner's eyes narrowed, and he immediately spewed the blazing white flames from his stomach, transforming them into a torrent. Seeing this, Albus flipped over the bar counter. The fireballs exploded one after another upon contact with the flames. The counter was flattened and the liquor shelves collapsed. The bartender, who had escaped to Albus's position, felt fortunate. Other patrons either shrank to the edges of the room or escaped. The blazing white ravens, which were deliberately avoiding the front, fell on the owner's back one after another. The owner was covered in a semi-transparent glow like a moonlight. Despite the explosions and the flames from the ravens, the owner's glow didn't dim, instead brightening. When the flames subsided, the bar owner returned to his original appearance, lifting his cleaver and looked at Lumion. But no one was there. Lumion was nowhere to be seen, and the bar owner was stunned. Simultaneously, a figure emerged from his shadows. Lumion, his eyes iron black, struck the owner's crotch with his flames-covered fist. Cheap shot, but hey, get him. Amidst the rumbling, Lumine's fist hit its mark, penetrating the depriver's intestines. Standing straight up, Lumion genuinely was all up in his guts. Whoa. Sitting up straight, Lumion lifted the bar owner. Oh my god, with letting the flames surge into his stomach. Jesus! Then, Lumion withdrew his right fist and threw the owner onto the ground. With a thud, the owner's crotch split open, intestines spilling out, and his stomach, though intact, was scorched. Lumion looked at the bar owner's pained, shrunken eyes and mocked. Did he turn your brain into food too? You blocked one round of attacks and stayed in the same spot? Had you not considered that I may use your shadow? Turning my brain into food? Is it possible? The bar owner's face twisted as he muttered. His voice faded, and he died. Lumion stared at the depriver's corpse, not thinking about his opponent's response, but noting something unusual. Deprivers have a variety of abilities, though each one basic and crude, their combat applications are formidable. If this guy hadn't been so sluggish, I wouldn't have attacked his weak spot so easily. I might have needed to use one of the mystical items from my bag. In comparison, Worms, the Marauder, didn't have this problem. As he thought, Lumion shook his head, revealing a pained, corrosive wound caused by the stomach acid of the owner. His hand had been protected by the flames. Despite knowing that he couldn't prevent the owner's boons from returning to the source, Lumion squatted down, pulled a plain sword from the traveler bag, and used the flames to separate the stomach from the corpse. He planned to ask Ludwig if he could make this into a dish with some special effects or something. How many years has your boss been exiled? Lumion asked the bartender. 5 or 6, I think. 5 or 6. That thief looked younger. Probably only in exile for a year or 2. The longer one stays in Marora, the more likely they are to show symptoms of experimental personnel symptoms due to the corruption. But the ceiling info didn't mention this, and it doesn't happen in Trier. Lumion pondered as he said, "Don't take my spoils," referring to the owner's money. Lumion then walked to the corridor beside the bar. Based on the origin of the stake in the chef's position, he suspected the body part to be here. Entering the kitchen, he saw a half-decayed, swollen, blue-black corpse displayed on the kitchen cooking counter. Looking at the hold on, let me change this. Lumion muttered. They're not even trying to hide it, are they? Classic Marora. Classic Luddy. Lumion did a quick inspection, confirming that the highly decayed corpse was indeed another part of the abscessed hand. Besides missing his left hand, the corresponding part of the head and the abscessed hand's body itself is fairly intact. If it weren't for the rotting flesh at the spine and the writhing trying to regenerate, Lumion might have doubted that the 2 stakes served to him and Albus came from this corpse. This made Lumion frown, a question he had pondered earlier resurfaced. Must I do a recall of all the stakes sold? Judging by the corpse's completeness, it doesn't seem necessary. Moreover, the residents of Marora have been eating such steaks for a while. Who knows if they truly digested and absorbed the flesh? From what I sense of the subtle connection between the corpse, even if digested, the flesh likely just changes without fundamentally altering. Okamine! Holy crap, brother! Long time no see. It has. How you doing? I'm doing good. You know, we're 2/3 of the way through COI. We're almost there. We're gonna be pushing hard. Keep going, you know. Once we can get through. Once I can get to 1,000, then I know I can just brute force my way through the last bit of it and just fucking whoop, and be done. From what I sense about the subtle connections between the corpse, even if digested... hold on. As he pondered, Lumion quickly stuffed the corpse into his traveler bag, using the Sword of Courage and the other swords to separate it from the other half, wanting to fuse. So they were served the stuff and it looked pretty appetizing, Albus said, from the kitchen doorway. What's your VOD streams? Very sorry, I've been busy. All good. No need to be sorry, man. I appreciate you popping by, alright? Listen, I might give you shit about it, but, you know, it's all in good times, alright? I appreciate you coming all the same. How, work's been busy? That's good. Well, good and bad, I suppose, right? How you doing? Outside of work, how's life? Albus, the former member of the Iron and Blood Cross Order in the Medici family, wore a black jacket with dark red patterns, one hand in his pocket, marveling. He didn't seem disgusted by the almost eating a rotten flesh steak. I was looking forward to seeing what changes you'd undergo after eating it, Lumin turned and smiled. Gradually gain some self-healing abilities, becoming stronger in moonlit nights, gaining some dark spells, Albus replied. But in return, self-control would decrease, intelligence would regress, and nightmares would be frequent. So you came to investigate after noticing the odd behaviors, eh? Lumin asked. He wasn't really seeking confirmation, he had already determined it. A hunter must conceal their true purpose by avoiding traps. Albus smiled. They tried to keep this a secret, hoping only they and their collaborators could enjoy the special food. Who in Marora isn't selfish? Lumin asked. How did you notice their intelligence regression? Lumin asked. If their intelligence hadn't regressed, how could they have revealed the secret to me so easily, leading me here? So, should I kill you to keep this a secret? Do you think those idiots can keep a secret? Albus met his gaze and smiled. With that, the Medici family member turned and walked towards the bar hall. Lumin stood still, watching him leave, in deep thought, having a strong urge to kill him for a moment, considering using this chance to eliminate Albus to prevent him from interfering with his approach to 001. Ultimately, Lumin resisted, for two reasons. First, he judged that becoming an experimental subject would severely impact his awareness, unless it was his only option. He didn't want to try. In that case, having an extra person, a cannon fodder to help investigate, was viable. Second, he wasn't even sure if he could kill Albus. If Albus was still in the same state when they had explored the Red Swan Castle, he'd be easy to deal with, but months had passed. He had become a Reaper and fully digested his potion. It was unlikely the other party hadn't made any progress. Moreover, if Albus was indeed representing Medici in approaching 001, the King of Angels would likely enhance his descendants' power, providing more powerful items to ensure he was amongst the apex below demigods. Lumin didn't leave the kitchen immediately, checking around, looking for any special ingredients the owner may have had. Unfortunately, Lumin only found the ordinary ingredients. He then went up to the second floor of the bar, entering the depriver's bedroom. What sequence do you think Albus is? I think it's probably a sequence 5 too. I don't think he's a demigod. He then went up to the second floor. He planned to stay there as the duel winner for the time being. The bedroom was cleaner than Lumin anticipated. No grease stains, no cockroaches or insects. Aside from being a little messy, it was fine. Lumin walked around, trying to activate the black mark on his shoulder, but couldn't sense any places he could teleport to, as expected. I can only teleport within this area. It's not like Marora residents want to leave. I wonder if Albus had such thoughts. Lumin muttered it as he took out the ritual materials, conducting a second experiment, summoning a messenger. But neither the doll messenger nor his own responded to the call, disconnected to the spirit world. As expected of something sealing 001. Lumin proceeded to the third experiment according to his plan, walking to the full-length mirror in this room, placing his right hand on it, activating a mark on his shoulder, using the contractual ability from Bloody Jack to sense the mirror marks he had left. In the blink of an eye, Lumin sensed 3 faint marks. In Morin's study, the Blue Avenger's treasury, and Franca's apartment. This meant that if Lumin could enter the mirror, he may be able to use his ability to reach the mirrors corresponding to these marks. If not, he could at least exchange information. Lumin was both pleasantly surprised and satisfied. Having read the 001 data, he knew its origins and its connection to the 4th Epoch Trier. Given the similar sealing methods, many details should be consistent. Trier had a special mirror world, so likely this place did too. The experimental subjects detail, if not blindfolded, the ones who leave the mausoleum will be a monster resembling him, with evidence of the mirror people. Based on this, Lumin's thoughts of using the mirror world abilities may establish some connection with the outside world. With this hypothesis, he borrowed the mirror cuffling from Franca, who had become a demoness of affliction. In a few days, she could use the pretext of investigating the mirror people to request charms from the demoness sect to allow her to use the mirror world for teleportation. Lumin reached into his bag and took out the cufflinks. He didn't rush to confirm if it could be used to leave or only to transmit information, as the cufflink only has 4 uses left. At that moment, Lumin's stomach growled with hunger. He couldn't help but gripe internally. Seriously, the church is so stingy, not even a meal or a sip of water before sending me here? Lumin descended to the first floor, intending to cook something in the kitchen and wait for the rain to stop. By now, the bar owner's body had been taken away by the enforcers and the bloodstains had been cleaned, and the destroyed bar and the hall's scorched remains hadn't been dealt with. Glass shards and wood splinters mixed with the smell of liquor and wood. Just as LEMMiNO picked up the bar owner's legacy by the enforcers, 420 Sasson gold, someone walked in. The human meat chef, Les. Les looked around and said, "Are you hiring?" A law of convergence, LEMMiNO laughed. "Sure, go to the kitchen, make me something. I'm curious to see how it tastes." Looks like LEMMiNO got a new house and an employee so quick. Les looked around. Can you make decisions for the owner here? Yes, because I am the owner now, LEMMiNO smiled. Weren't we just exiled together? Les asked. It had been less than an hour since they had arrived. How could he possibly own this place? Les, you see, this is why you've got the employee mindset. You came here, oh, can I get a job? I walked in here, killed the owner. I'm a business owner. See? Same time, different mindset. Get out of this wagey mindset, okay? This is why you're stuck. LEMMiNO tilted his head and pointed to his chin towards the destroyed area. I had a duel with the previous owner and won. He's dead? Where's his body? The enforcers took it, probably to be buried or something, LEMMiNO said. Walking to the edge of the hall and picking up a relatively intact chair. Les sighed, but followed LEMMiNO's suggestion all the same to start cooking. LEMMiNO wandered to the bar area, searching for 2 steaks he and Albus hadn't eaten. They were torn to pieces in the explosion, scattered amongst the debris. After examining for a while, LEMMiNO noticed that the steak fragments showed no signs of writhing or regeneration. The fire had destroyed any subtle connection to the corpse, making them entirely dead. These probably don't need to be recalled. The high-temperature flames can restrain the self-healing ability from the separated flesh. Besides, the separated rotten flesh only needs to have a limited self-healing ability, or each piece could grow into a new handbro, and there'd be no need to find the corpse. After pondering, LEMMiNO brought over a small overturned round table from the edge of the hall and placed it next to the chair. He sat down and waited for Les to prepare lunch. As time passed, Les brought out a mixed salad, creamy mashed potatoes, and other dishes. LEMMiNO took a spoonful of the mashed potatoes and tasted it, finding the texture unusually smooth. Not bad, LEMMiNO said. Les stood next to him. I used to own a restaurant. And specializing in human meat, LEMMiNO teased. Back then, I was a normal chef with excellent, but still human, skills. So why'd you start eating people? LEMMiNO asked. My wife had a friend who always filled her heads with the idea of a luxurious lifestyle, introducing her to the so-called high society members. She then started doing OnlyFans when she met up with this rich Dubai sheikh. I'm sorry. Whoa, I started reading some Andrew Tate propaganda there. I'm sorry. Hold on, sorry, let me restart. My wife had a friend who always filled her head with the idea of a luxurious lifestyle, introducing her to the so-called high society members, even encouraging her to have affairs and squander money. She secretly mortgaged our restaurant. Her goal was our restaurant from the beginning. After losing the restaurant, that friend stopped associating with my wife, and my wife finally came to her senses, but was too weak. She burned down the restaurant, killing herself in the process. Then a regular customer who admired my cooking skills approached me and asked if I wanted revenge. He offered to help, saying someone with my skills should worship a god of cuisine, the great devouring whirlpool. Oh my god, you wouldn't believe it? The devouring whirlpool was the name we used to call our old dishwasher. It would devour all the stains off the dishes. And it was a Whirlpool brand dishwasher. So, the more you know. After that, I received a boon and slowly grew stronger. After becoming a true chef, I found that woman that made her into the most satisfying meal of my life. From that day on, I enjoyed the flesh of the damned and gained the ability to discern who deserved death. Was that woman a follower of an evil god? Lumion asked. Yes. The so-called truth. When she met my wife, she was still weak. As expected, Lumion smiled. The ability to discern who deserves to die is quite useful. When I capture a broker, sequence 7 or higher, I'll leave it to Ludwig to handle. He literally... Okay, don't. After finishing the meal Les prepared, Lumion nodded. I'm willing to hire you. Let's discuss your compensation. Alright, Les said. There's quite a bit of wine left in the cellar. Clean up the bar and rebuild it. Display the wine, and after that, you'll be responsible for hiring and managing, as well as reestablishing contact with suppliers. That's the job of a manager, Les noted. Yes, chef and manager. The bar's revenues, after costs, will all be yours. What about you? Les asked. You'll be responsible for my meals, cleaning my room, and if there are special ingredients, making dishes or cocktails that give me the corresponding traits. Also, I do not eat human meat. Les stared at Lumion. You seem to know a lot about a chef's abilities? The previous owner of this bar was a depriver, so unfortunately I deprived him of his life, so he can't share his skills with you. Moreover, my godson is an angel of your pathway. Dude, how hard is that? What? My godson is an angel of your pathway. I know more. I have forgotten more of your godforsaken pathway than you will ever know, child. Les fell silent. As Lumion was about to leave, he said, I'll take good care of the bar. Lumion didn't look back, raising his right hand and waving lightly in acknowledgement. There were still a few deep pools of water on the street outside, with pedestrians mainly walking on the sidewalk. The sky was now bright and sunny. Following the subtle connections from the contract mark, Lumion walked towards the suspected location of the abscessed hand's head. Turning a corner, he saw a drenched corpse lying underneath a book-engraved obelisk. It was Verstappen, the gloomy murderer who had been exiled, with Lumion and the others. At this moment, his hands and feet were severed at the joints, pants stripped off, and his groin a bloody mess. Lost a duel, eh? Lumion muttered, silently laughing. He almost whistled in admiration for the duel he hadn't witnessed. It must have been exciting. Looks like that collector named Julie is stronger. Both she and Verstappen had ulterior motives. No open intentions to provoke a duel. Lumion thought Julie was likely a beyonder. Such knife skills weren't something a normal person would have. As for whether Verstappen was, Lumion couldn't tell. Even if he was, his characteristic should have been taken. That woman is formidable, the voice said beside Lumion. A gentleman had come from the side of the square, wearing a half-high silk hat, a white shirt, a cashmere sweater, and a woolen suit jacket, a bow tie, and a cane. He looked just over 30s, with a thin face and gentle blue eyes. Did you see the fight? Lumion asked. They initially wanted to borrow revolvers for the duel from the restaurant, but the waiter told them there were too many duels today and the guns were all borrowed, leaving only 2 long swords. That woman was quite skilled. The man blocked 3 strikes before being knocked, having his hands and feet cut off, and his pants removed. So Verstappen likely wasn't a beyonder. What's your name? Lumion asked. You can call me Gauzen or Count. I heard you killed Worms. Worms? The thief? He was struck by lightning. Nothing to do with me, of course. If I had killed him, the enforcers would have arrested me. There are ways to deceive the enforcers, Gauzen smiled. So you've noticed their rigidity too, eh? Lumion said. Worms died because he wasn't lucky enough. The item he stole from me attracts lightning during the rain. So you can't be blamed, Gauzen said, understandably. How should I address you, sir? And where are you staying? Louis, at the Carnivore Bar, Lumion responded. Beware of Boehner, the owner's bar and chef. He's quite dangerous and cannibalistic. I killed him, Lumion smiled. Aha! You are more interesting than I anticipated. I hope you bring the long-lost vitality to Morora that I so miss. Lumion didn't continue the topic, instead taking the opportunity to ask, in Morora, apart from Heraberg from the Church of Knowledge, who should I look out for? Wanek, the owner of the Dodis Agricultural Company, has a monopoly on the grain supply in the surrounding farms. He had become an experimental subject but suddenly escaped and now behaves like an ordinary person. He is the most dangerous one in Morora. Can someone really return to normalcy after becoming a subject? And the church didn't do anything? This is what I need. Who is the second most dangerous person? Lumion asked. They say It is me, Gazan said, his smile remaining unchanged. Oh, I'm gonna like this guy. I say that, he's immediately gonna turn out to be the most fucking horrific person that's ever been created. Lumin wasn't surprised that Gazan indirectly referred to himself as the second strongest person, instead asking, "What have you done?" I mean, in Marora, of course. Organized uprisings? We are in the city of exile. Why shall we accept the rule of the church? We should unite and drive them out. Then we will make our own rules and govern our own selves. Ignoring other factors, your words do kind of make sense, but the issue is, if we overthrew the church, why stay here? Is this the influence of 001? The residents never consider leaving? Fortunately, I have a false angel rank and all sorts of random things, so I'm kind of reluctant to leave. Not entirely devoid of such thoughts, though. Uprisings were something the church wouldn't allow, Lumion thought, and given the knowledge on 001, Gazan must have organized multiple uprisings and still hadn't been caught. This was enough to show that this gentleman, like mature man, was not simple. He's giving me clearly Marauder vibes again. And the fact that he knew, like, oh, you killed worms, and he went. I feel like he'd be like a mid sequencer of the Marauder pathway. Seeing that Louis wasn't scared by his words, Gazan asked, "Would you like to join our group?" "I'll think about it," Louis replied. He truly had intended to consider it. This may be a way to approach 001. He believed that this ragtag group, unable to resist the influence of 001, couldn't truly overthrow the church's rule here, but he needed chaos. These exiles could die, and the church personnel here seemed to be puppets. Being a prisoner in this prison, or becoming its ruler, being perpetually oppressed, it is indeed requiring of careful consideration. With that, Gazan glanced to the other side of the square and said, "I must take my leave now. If you decide, hang a red cloth, the kind used to taunt bulls, at the door of the bar." With that, Gazan removed his hat, placed it on his chest, and bowed. Watching him walk to the nearby alley, Lumin saw a group of black-robed enforcers hurrying. "Did you see Gazan just now? He looks like a gentleman with a hat," the leader asked. "Yes." He went that way. Lumin pointed casually at the alley Gazan had entered. The enforcer stared at Lumin for a few seconds before continuing to pursue. Lumin raised his right hand and rubbed his chin. Gazan sensed the enforcers, but I didn't. Is that why he's managed to organize multiple uprisings? Is it his ability? An item? Corruption? Lumin didn't linger in the square, instead bidding farewell to Verstappen's corpse and making his way towards the possible location of the abscessed hand's head. After turning to another street, he suddenly had a premonition and looked towards the edge of the city. The ground shook violently. Earth and stones surged up, swallowing several buildings and forming a mountain about 10 meters high. At the mountain peak, thick dust mixed with smoke erupted, and lava flowed, emanating heat Lumin could feel. A volcanic eruption? He had thought that volcanic eruptions described in the 001 information came from the surrounding mountains, not within the city itself. After a few seconds, the dust obscured the sky, plunging Marora into darkness. Passersby showed no reaction, merely covering their nose to block the dust and treating it as if normal. In such conditions, Gazan and his people hadn't thought of escaping, only planning to overthrow. No wonder. This is a Grade 0 artifact. Lumin, who restored himself every 6 a.m., remained unafraid of the dust and resumed his steps. He crossed the street and arrived at the square with multiple obelisks. In the dusty environment, he moved along the buildings until he reached his destination, feeling a resonance. "You still want to live here?" "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to live anywhere where there's a volcano." Couldn't be me. I'd love to live in Hawaii. Lumin quickly turned and looked at the classical buildings. At the top hung a large sign with the words written in Lemberg, "Dodas Agriculture Companies," below the sign. The two glass windows opened, revealing a figure wearing a thin white hat and the two top buttons undone despite the cold winter. Had hair like it was stained with fresh blood. No introductions needed. The most dangerous man in Marora, Wanek. Resonance brought me here? The law of convergence? Did Wanek escape the status of an experimental subject because he submitted to 001? Is he now a proxy? This artifact, despite lacking wisdom, instinctively seeks opportunities to break free. As Lumin's thoughts raced, he suspected Wanek, suddenly transforming into a blazing white spear, filling with destructive energy and flying at him. Lumin's gaze disappeared without reappearing. He teleported closer to the abscessed hand's head, in his ears echoing the suspected taunting voice of Wanek. "Coward? Chicken?" Luminor snorted, not turning to fight the man. First, I'll gather the body parts. He feared the battle may lead to unforeseen events, making contact with 001 before he had collected the body parts, resulting in an uncontrollable consequence. Moreover, the aura the Wanek had displayed may suggest traces of godhood. Even if not truly a Sequence 4, he differed from a Sequence 5 fundamentally. Demigods couldn't approach 001, but maybe a pseudo-demigod proxies could. Lumin looked ahead, finding himself in the boundless cemetery in the Church of Knowledge. Lumin was stunned, and thought it kind of made sense. The bar chef owner having half the abscessed hand's body and using it was an anomaly. Normally, anyone, even a felon, encountering a rotten corpse split into multiple parts would first call the enforcers to clean up the mess. The enforcers would then bury the body in the cemetery. Of course, this was a normal assumption, exuding those for penchant for corpses. Lumin moved forward, approaching the source of this connection, suddenly remembering something. Madam Magician had said dangerous things may happen once the body parts of the abscessed hands were gathered. It is best to complete this step within the City of Exiles to offset the corresponding risks. If I get the hand bro's head later, does this count as gathering the body? Will it cause a dangerous event? Maybe I should wait. Wait for dangerous and difficult to handle events before teleporting back to gather Handbro's body to create unknown risks. I can't face the danger of Handbro alone. Sharing is caring after all. Also, Madam Magician implied that Handbro may break the seal and enter Marora once its body is gathered. Otherwise, how could it be considered complete? Normally, not even a messenger can be summoned. This might help me escape. As Lumin pondered, he stopped at a recently filled pit without a tombstone. His contract mark told him that a part of the abscessed hand was in this pit. Seeing the unusually fresh marks on the pit surface, Lumin felt a tightness in his chest as he crouched down and performed a directional blast. With the rumbling sound of the explosions, he blew away a large amount of soil and unearthed a black wooden box. Opening the box, Lumin saw a highly decomposed, blue swollen ear. Lumin unfolded a folded piece of paper. Lumin unfolded the paper and read, as expected, "You want this head. Unfortunately, I got it before you went to the bar and hid it. Maybe you can ask me for it. Albus Medici." Can't just let things be nice, can you, Albus, you bitch? Okay. So either we end here or we end on the next chapter. We can do either way. I just wanted to get to 800 and we did that goal today, okay? Lumin admitted that he felt a bit provoked. $800W? Yes, sir. We are now 8/12 of the way there, or 2/3 of the way finished. Officially 2/3. Well, technically it probably would have been like a couple chapters ago, but rough numbers, 1200 chapters, 800, 2/3. 66.667% repeating. Completed. Lumin admitted he felt a bit provoked, but this was still acceptable. If his guess was right, he and Albus would eventually cross paths again regarding 001. It was better for the abscessed hand's head to be in his possession than lost or hidden by some random person. Lumin regretted not acting against Albus earlier. At that time, it was hard to predict that Albus had already obtained a part of the abscessed hand's head. Silently, Lumin activated the black mark representing spirit world traversal, sensing the subtle connection between him and the body part, intending to use it to find Albus. The feedback is all similar, there's no way to know which is stronger. which may be the head. Did Albus do something to suppress the feedback or block it? Lumion exhaled, taking the abscessed hand's ear from the box and placing it in his traveler bag, carefully examining the area around the grave, hoping to find clues. Unfortunately, Albus was also an experienced hunter, adept at covering his tracks. Containing his emotions, Lumion turned back to the bar. As he made his way to the door, Les, the human cook who had found some wood to repair the shelves and bar counter, stopped working and turned to him. I hired a waitress. You can decide that for yourself, Lumion said, uninterested in the bar's operations. You know her, Julie, who came in with us. The collector? Lumion almost choked. Why would a man hire such a collector as a waitress? Before Lumion could ask Les's reasoning, Julie descended. She had changed into a dark slit dress she had found from somewhere, and her chest barely concealed. Alright, you know what? Good waitress choice. I'm convinced. Her previously dirty face now clean, and her long brown hair simply tied up, her features clear in Lumion's eyes. Despite having been around two demonesses for long, Lumion found himself quite impressed. The convict didn't look perverse or mad, with slender brown eyebrows and brown eyes that seemed to hold an elegant autumn water. Her skin delicate and white, her demeanor gentle and elegant. A uniquely beautiful woman. Like a demoness, Lumion had to admit. Another case of convergence. Why do you want to be a waitress at my bar? Lumion sighed as he asked. I need a job, Julie smiled. Why do you like collecting that part of men? Lumion asked. I just want to reclaim what is mine. Another victim of the demoness sect, eh? She must have transformed from a man to a woman like Franca, but unlike Franca, she had some severe issues with that, eh? Lumion guessed while confirming that Julie was likely a demoness and not a low-sequence one. Your way of digesting pleasure is to... Okay, never mind. I'm not fucking You are out of your fucking mind if you think I'm reading that sentence. That fits the nature of a demoness of pleasure, but it's direct and brutal. How did the church send a demoness here as an ordinary murderer? Was it intentional? Based on my knowledge, each god's pathway has 1 to 3 great beings holding the sequence of power, like Mr. Fool, the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessing, the Great Mother, and the Mother Tree of Desire. From this perspective, the primordial demoness being adjacent to the hunter pathway is trying to scheme 001 is understandable, perhaps even inevitable. According to Madam Magician, 001 is the key to ascending to Great Priest and becoming the true god of that pathway. Hi, Alma! In this case, once the sect discovers Marora, they will definitely send witches down here to infiltrate. But why didn't they send anyone before, waiting until Julie and I were exiled together? Perhaps the demoness's revelation only told them about following me so that they could enter Marora, given that I was specifically sent by the God of Knowledge. No, more likely, Julie isn't the first or even the second demoness to be here, the previous ones just didn't complete their mission. If that is true, the demonesses controlling the mirror world have it easier than me using the mirror cufflink and mirror mark to connect to the outside. From her, I may find opportunities to approach 001, Lumion thought. I don't care what you want to reclaim or why, but if you want to be a waitress at my bar, follow my rules. First, no harassing customers during work hours. What if they harass me? Les will throw them out. If they fight back, Les knows how to cook them and will leave you the part you want, Lumion said. Or you can wait until the bar closes and then find them yourself. What about the second rule? No harassing the boss. Les will discuss your pay. I wanted to see if what I lost is with you, Julie said, disappointed. Is it harassment if I invite you to look at my collection? She asked. Not interested, Lumion replied, confirming Julie's crimes weren't intentional to get exiled. She had a genuine hobby, looking gentle and beautiful, but twisted. After a while, Julie finished Les's meticulously prepared dinner and said, I've decided to seduce you last. Her seduction, of course, was lethal. If you're ever killed, can I have your body? Les asked, but sincerely, Les seemed a bit disappointed, but asked. Sure, Julie agreed. She then looked at Lumion. Boss, the bar hasn't reopened. Can I go out tonight? That's your freedom. Lumion drank some ale to suppress his sudden restlessness. He was now sure Julie was a demoness of affliction, having just used charm on him. If she approached again, he'd use cull without mercy. Bye, Alma. No worries. Appreciate you popping by. Only by intimidating this demoness with strength and ferocity could he keep her in check. Julie wiped her mouth with a napkin and stood up and left the bar. After a few seconds, LEMMiNO vanished. He teleported, then turned into a shadow creature, following Julie. Julie walked elegantly, approaching a square where exiles gathered, feigning drunkenness. The exiles couldn't take their eyes off this demoness, and a muscular man approached. Julie drunkenly wagged her tail. I want to duel you. And I can't burn the cakes? Oh, no worries. Bye, Alma. Have fun baking. Sure, the man said joyfully, helping Julie leave. The other exiles didn't react in time, losing sight of the two. LEMMiNO didn't lose track, though, hiding outside the man's window. He heard Julie's kitten-like moans. With an ascetic's endurance, LEMMiNO showed no abnormality until the man shouted. The next second, a piercing scream of intense pain erupted. Soon, Julie emerged, face flush, her eyes bright, her beauty overwhelming, holding a bloody object. Freezing it in a crystal clear ice, placing it in a small bag. LEMMiNO continued following Julie, who didn't attempt any counter-surveillance, arriving at the large square outside the church. She seemed to be waiting for something. After a while, a team of black-robed enforcers emerged from the church. Julie's eyes lit up. She approached the enforcer and shouted, Celeste! The tall woman in the black robe glanced at her emotionlessly. Who are you? Julie's expression froze. Oh, she lost one of her friends. Oh, so one of the enforcers is actually a demoness infiltrator who just got fucking... who got reprogrammed? Cringe. Imagine, my cult is stronger than your cult. Get rolled. Hey there, how's it going, man? Alright, let's do 801, last chapter we call it. I made much faster progress than I anticipated today. We're what, 100 minutes in, and I haven't been reading for that whole time, and I'm at 801, so we'll just do this rather than not 100 hours. How many hours do you think I've streamed COI? Someone should let me know. I feel like it's gotta be a lot. It's gotta be a disgusting amount. 10 minutes, okay, just simple math. 800 chapters, if we're doing 10 minutes a chapter, that's 8,000 minutes. 8,000 minutes divided by 60, 133 hours. If I'm averaging 10 minutes a chapter, which I'm probably not. Probably averaging slightly higher. I will of steel. If I said only 40 chapters, I will only read 40. Good for you. Seeing Julie remain silent, the enforcer led her team across the square, continuing their patrol. Julie stood there, frozen. An old lover, LEMMiNO thought. The enforcer had a certain demoness-like charm. Was she the last demoness sent to infiltrate here? Julie's lover? Became a subject and forgot her? No, just COI, Chris. Yes, the Knowledge Cathedral's Herberg mentioned that in Marora the past isn't important, only the present and the future, implying that after becoming a subject or spending enough time, ties to the past disappear. This is somewhat like the people who disappeared in Trier's catacombs, forgotten by everyone who knew them. LEMMiNO felt he understood Julie's emotions. She may have willingly taken on the task of infiltrating Marora, hoping to rescue her lover, only to discover that they had forgotten her completely. Besides the two untamed demonesses around me, there's actually another who believes in love. Julie must have another purpose in seeking Celeste. Confirming your situation, obtaining untransmitted information, perhaps items prepared for 001's seizing. After a while, Julie trudged back to the bar, her face plain and her expression sorrowful. LEMMiNO stayed vigilant, following Julie until she reached the bar before reappearing in his room. A while later, laying on his bed, LEMMiNO's thoughts wandered. He opened his eyes, noticing a detail. Celeste's reaction was wrong. From previous tests, LEMMiNO knew the enforcer, strangely recognizing every resident. Celeste should have asked, "Who are you calling?" or "What do you want?" instead of "Who are you?" Whether in a normal state or not, she most likely still recognized Julie, but pretended. LEMMiNO sat up. Is Celeste not a complete experimental subject yet? Is she pretending not to recognize Julie to protect herself? What is she using to maintain some clarity or self-awareness? Is this something the demoness sect prepared? Or has Celeste had some fortuitous encounters? LEMMiNO decided it was necessary to contact Celeste. Of course, he would first see if Celeste would secretly approach Julie. In Trier's Arts District, Franca waited outside the art gallery as agreed for the Demoness of Black. Let me switch music a little bit. Before long, a four-seater carriage pulled up and Clarice, wearing a black hat and thin veil, approached. Franca opened the door, slightly stepped up and sat opposite her. As the carriage moved forward, she smiled. "Madame, I have ascended to affliction." "Faster than expected," Clarice said. "Because CL had become a Reaper. He too is a Sequence 5. His advancement seems even quicker than your own," Clarice said. "After Martin's death, he should have left the Iron and Blood Cross Order, right?" "Yes, he used Martin's characteristic to concoct the potion, so he owes him for the advancement." "Even in death, Martin helps you." That was a hell of a joke. Franca felt slightly awkward. "Madame, you said that you'd tell me some secrets once I became a Sequence 5. "Yes. You are now considered a core member. Where should I begin?" "I will start with the specifics of our sect. We originally were a family, all members descendants of the Primordial One. But since the Fifth Epoch, such structures couldn't sustain our influence. We needed to incorporate Beyonders of the Pathway, who also believe in the Primordial One." "Are you also a descendant of the Primordial One?" Franca asked. "My mother is a descendant." "Wait, so according to our deductions, you should have Sauron and Tamara blood. Does that mean your mother was one of the Primordial One in Tamara's bloodline? Does that mean I can never join the brass of the sect? I'm not a descendant. It no longer matters. You can marry a descendant and your child will count. Moreover, in the future, you may truly become a child of the Primordial One. We are getting closer." "What do you mean?" Franca asked. "You will understand in due time." "I hate people who speak so unclearly," Franca grumbled. "After the Pale White War, the Primordial One fell into a slumber, occasionally awakening. All sect affairs are handled by high-ranking demonesses titled by color. Currently, there are 13, including myself, some of whom are angels, others saints." "Is there a pope, pontiff, or matriarch?" Franca asked. "Yes, the Primordial One's child, our matriarch, the Demoness of Grey. She likes to be called the Saintess of Grey, actually." "The Primordial One's child? What is her relation to Crismona? Brown's told me Crismona is the child of the Primordial One." "They are twins, but our matriarch was born as a male Sequence 9 and later became a demoness." "Twins? It seems that the Saintess of Grey may know some secrets of the Crismona Night Pillar." "Each high-ranking demoness titled by color handles specific affairs, directly reporting to our matriarch, but they do not have clear subordination amongst themselves, and we sometimes receive revelations from the Primordial One, allowing us considerable autonomy. I came to Trier to manage the members here, maintain contact with the local collaborators, and clean up the Mirror People." "Is our approach to the Mirror People complete eradication? No intention to use them?" "How do you plan to use them?" the demoness asked. "If I knew, why would I ask?" Franca smiled. "To help us control that special mirror world. I think it could be useful." "Why do you think we haven't mastered that world yet?" Franca was genuinely confused. "All mirror worlds are under our control. That special mirror world was originally used to fight the Primordial One, but ultimately the Primordial One took control. Of course, after the War of the Four Emperors, we lost partial control of that space. After the Pale White War, we could only exert limited influence." "Why?" Franca asked. "Perhaps the matriarch and other high-ranking demonesses who survived the war know, but I do not. From the Mirror People's state and their confessions, I guess the Primordial One's projection in the Fourth Epoch experienced some changes, or the Primordial One's projection separated part of her characteristic, affected by the Fourth Epoch's Trier seal, unable to return, unable to reunite. But this doesn't explain why we lost further control of the Pale White War. Moreover, a true god is unique." Do you think Demoness, the baby, know the baby if it's a daughter? Maybe not? Probably, actually. They probably reverse Amazonian them, Like the Amazonians would do the same with babies if they were males. Alright, boys. That's it. Pretty good timing, dare I say so myself. Under 2 hours for what? 11 chapters? Pretty good. Alright, guys. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. We'll keep going. Amazonian Lord Loki crazy, genuinely. So, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days. If I can do like 8:30, and then if I can get to like 8:50... Bros, we're not going to make it to 1,000. But I will push as hard as I can next week, okay? That's the truth. We're not going to make it to 1,000. I'm just thinking about it. But I will try as hard as I can. That's it, boys. Have a good night.